What's up guys, it's the Maka here. Finally, I know. And I know this isn't Poxnora, so this video is actually going to be a bit different today. This is a game called Infinity Wars, and it's a game I've been playing the last nearly a week, and it's actually pretty fun. It's pretty unique for a card game, not quite on the level of Poxnora as far as unique ability goes, but at the moment, I'm just not feeling Boxstar at the moment. I'm just hoping for the client to get a bit better first. And hopefully new content will come soon as well, which they said that their midterm will be soon. But for now, I'm just going to be playing this game. And before we start, I'm going to go over the UI and try and explain how the game works, because it's pretty difficult to be entertaining when people watching don't have any idea what the fuck's going on. So, yeah, we'll be back in a second in probably just a bot game, just to explain everything in the board, and then we'll continue from there. Talk to you in a moment. Okay, sup guys, I'm back. I know it's been like 5 seconds for you at tops, so that's probably not too much of a shocker. But yeah, so this is what the field looks like. Um, to explain a little bit about what's going on here, this is obviously my hand, and this is my deck, which is a minimum of 40 cards. You can go anywhere from 40 to 100, and onwards from that. This is your health. When you attack, actually, before we go on to health, this is the board. From here, you can, well, from your hand, you can summon directly onto the support zone, and from the following turn after that, you can move into the assault zone or the defense zone. And what happens there is the support zone counts as your deployed area, and that counts as off the battlefield. With that, you're able to activate abilities and all that, but you won't attack or defend, but you're still able to be hit by certain abilities, such as this bombard here. Outside of that, there are certain special abilities, such as charge, which lets you go directly from your hand onto the field. And this is just a simple ability, that's why I'm taking the time to explain this. I'm not going to explain every ability in the game now, I'll explain them as they come up, when they come up, to make it not such a load on the knowledge. But outside of that, I'll start explaining out what's not on the board. This here, these are your resources. Every single turn, your maximum resources will increase. You start off at 1, and see this guy here has a maximum resource allocation of 1. So when I use him, I go back to 0, and that's all I can use for this turn. And also, because he's in the command zone, that counts as being on the board. They're able to activate their abilities and go directly into any zone they want. But they don't count as on the battlefield, and certain abilities like Bombard can't actually target them, but other abilities like Firebolt can, which I don't have, but I'll mention that if it comes up. Outside of that, you have health, which if I were to attack into his zone directly, then while he's got no one defending, then he would take health damage. On top of that, the less obvious one is the morale, which underneath the resource allocation is the morale cost. So that's how much it costs to deploy him, how many resources, and when he dies, that's his morale cost. And once that hits 0, then that'll help you lose the game. That will make you lose the game as well. So there's several ways to win the game. You can win by destroying the opponent's entire health bar, and you can also win by defending long enough that your opponent's morale bar will drop to 0, which that's actually what the point of this this bot's deck is. Yeah, I think I've covered everything. Every card also has special abilities that they can use, obviously, and yeah, that's basically as far as I can go for unique ability. So, oh, there's actually one more thing that I forgot to mention. It's actually a pretty big thing, so it's pretty dumb for me to forget. But the way the turns work is every single turn has a planning phase. So you go through each turn and you plan what you're going to do, and your opponent does that at the same time. And then once you've both finished making your plan, the turns will actually resolve at the exact same time, which is basically the turns are played simultaneously. So this game is very much about understanding what you're going to be going up against and being able to predict it and make counterplays based on what you think would happen. So there's quite a lot of thinking that goes into it. But outside of that, that's basically all I can find. And so I'll be back in a moment again, and I'll show you guys my deck and talk to you about the concept of that, so you understand what kind of playstyle I'm going for here. Okay, so we're back again, obviously, and this is the deck builder, and these are all the cards of which I can put into this deck. There's a maximum. Oh, hang on. These are all the cards I can put into this deck. There's quite a lot of them. This game has like 800 or so cards, I think. Outside of that though, there's not much more that's very complex about this screen. It's got all its filters and all that, so it's a lot easier to find cards that you're looking for. These are your command zones, which I already talked to you about what they can do. But these symbols here determine what kind of purity that your deck has. It's basically, as far as Fox Nora terminology goes, going for split faction. You could basically run a full faction, which I'm doing here. I'm running full Flame Dawn, I think it's called. I still haven't got the names of factions, but you can change the factions to, you can change the purity, sorry, to any faction that you want, and certain cards have their own purity requirements. For example, if you want to use Iberi in here, he has a double purity requirement, which means you can only use him in a deck that is at least 2 Flame Dawn purity. Whereas if you wanted to use, I can't actually show you because of, if you wanted to use, say, I'm trying to find one that's got 3. These guys. If you wanted to use these guys, you need to have complete just single faction purity, and that's the only way that you can include them in your deck. Anything that has 3 of the same purity. Whereas if they have 1 purity, then they can be included in triple faction, split faction, or two of one faction, or they can be included in any deck as long as you have at least 1 purity from its selected faction. Yeah, so I'll go on to the style of my deck now, just so you understand what I'm trying to do in this game. Basically, the entire point of this deck is basically rushing, trying to get the win as quickly as possible. So basically, because this is my command zone, I have them at the start of every single game. So this guy right here is basically my go-to opener for every single game. and I can use him to go into the assault zone straight away. And every single time he attacks here, you'll see that he gets stronger every single time he directly attacks the opponent's fortress. So he's a great card to be opening with. But you got these guys who are just really, really good statistically for a single what's it called? Single resource point. Likewise for these guys, like they have their drawbacks, but it's fine because you can outplay your drawbacks if you play well enough. And these guys just do direct damage when you deploy them, which is great for sniping at the end of the game or just general tempo. You can use these guys to damage deployed characters, which that's pretty helpful. And basically the rest of this deck is all built to deploy straight onto the attacking zone straight out of my hand instead of having to go into the support zone first. So it's a very fast paced deck. Outside of that, that's basically as deep as this deck goes. All of my ability cards are built around getting things out of the defense zone so I can keep dealing more health damage. And this card here is for endgame. If there's just too much for me to deal with, and I can't get back to dealing health damage, you can basically just use this to completely destroy the board, and there's nothing I can do about it. I guess if you've ever played Yu-Gi-Oh, it's like the Dark Hole from that. And yeah, outside of that, that's basically everything for this deck. So I'll be back again in a moment when we find a match, and then I'll basically talk you through that game, and you'll see how average I am at this game. I'm not bad and I'm not good. So yeah, we'll be back. Okay, what's up, guys? I'm back, and I know it's again been like 5 seconds to you, but it's been like 10 minutes for me waiting again for a game. So yeah. Alright, so I'm obviously playing against a person now. That's person is AO Ryzen, I guess. I don't know how to pronounce that. And he's using a dual purity deck, using 1 Flame Dawn and 2 Cult of Roar. And I guess the main point of his deck is to spam the shit out of ability. No, but basically these things will get more damage every single time something I own dies. So he'll be trying to get quick kills as much as possible. Alrighty then. He's also using, I guess he's using the Flame Dawn section to kind of rush down a little bit. Paladin of the Flame Dawn here is a charging unit, so he's able to go directly into the assault zone. And yeah, so he shouldn't have any way to defend unless he moves a Flame Dawn Aspirant into the defense zone, or if he uses an ability card. Yeah, he's using 2 more Aspirants. Alright. So it looks like he's basically trying to outrush me, which, if he wants to do that, that's cool, because it's not going to work. No, I don't want to okay, as you can see, by the way, guys, every single turn that I make, my maximum resource increases, and it completely refills every single turn. So that's basically this game's equivalent of Nora, though it works incredibly differently. So I want to use all of my resources every turn, so I think I'll deploy Callie here, who's pretty high damage character. And she's got pretty high HP as well, so she's moderately safe to be using it this time. Yeah, so he's just going all in, trying to rush me, and he's kind of out damaging me at the moment. But it'll be all good. When it comes down to it, my characters are constantly scaling. His just aren't. So, no, no, he's probably gonna use this torchbearer here to defend. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna chuck down this Ember Starter here, who is a charging unit, and because she has multi-strike, she can attack twice in a single turn. So if he uses only one unit to defend, then it will kill that, and then still go on to attack again anyway. And if he doesn't do that, then I'll just attack twice and it will do 12 damage instead of 6. Oh. So this is an interesting development. It looks like I might be boned. This has been a pretty quick match. I don't know why I completely forgot that Bromwich was a thing. So it looks as though do I have Intimidating Rally? No, I don't. Damn it. That only works when things are in the defense zone. I have 19, so I need to prevent at least 3 different attacks. And it can't be those last 2. Those last 2 definitely need to be separate. So, what I'll do is I'll throw a Claw down over there. I guess I'll sacrifice him. And I have no choice, I have to sacrifice the Flame Dawn as well. I'll go for another Ember Starter. Oh, what I could do actually is I'll cast Stumble on Bromwich here, and that will move him out of the assault zone, and that will lower his damage output by quite a lot. No, actually that's dumb, because he'll still get the same amount of kills anyway. 12, 18, 30. That might be the end of me. Alright. So now this is kind of tough. He's got 12 damage that he needs to do here. So as long as I take out 2 of his units and he doesn't have a charge unit, which he most likely will, looking at the kind of deck that he's running. Actually, move that over there, and I'll use Stumble on this thing. So this way, if he uses it to defend, then it will not defend and I'll get the kill. And if he uses it to attack, then he just won't do enough damage. It's the best I can do. I'm really trying to work out what it is he can do here. Ah, crap. What he's probably going to do is he's going to use these to defend. Okay. Yeah, I lost. So, that was a pretty bad game. Um, I'll go for one more game. And after that, I guess I'll finish the video. Good game to this guy as well. I really didn't think I'd be outrushed there, and that was really dumb on my part, so yeah, I'll be back in a moment. Okay, what's up guys? I'm back again, and we're playing a game again. Wow, that was a very dumb thing to say. Okay, so this guy is using a triple purity Sleepers of Avarok deck, which that is essentially, I guess, the Forsaken Waste. Okay, so basically, the point of this deck looks like it is to put out as many best friends as you can, which that's 3 of them. And if you have all 3 out at once, then that's 3 units that are 12/12 for 3 resources, so that's pretty strong. And she's basically just there to consistently create more meat to defend with. So as always, unless there's very specific situations, I open with Claw. Okay, well that sucks. He's diseased my Iberian. So basically he's going to take damage every single round now. Until he dies. Outside of that, he's going to use that to defend, and I don't want my Claw to take damage, so I'm moving him back into the support zone now, and he'll move that into the defense zone. That kind of sucks, because that means I can't use my Fanatic this turn either, which means I'm just wasting resources. Yeah. Ah. Okay. It's relatively important that we look at what these cards are. Okay. Okay, so he's basically just trying to fill his graveyard, and I assume he's got some sort of mechanic there to get free summons out of it. I'm gonna use Kali here to attack first because she'll be able to survive a hit, and it will also remove it from play as well, so that'll be pretty handy instead of filling his graveyard. No matter what, because Claw was in this support zone last turn, his next attack will be unblockable, so that's pretty handy. Oh, okay. I guess he's just taking the damage. I really think that's a bad idea, but if he wants to do that, that's fine. And Iberian will actually be alive when I have 7 resources. So I just need to summon him as soon as I'm able to, and then he can't die. Well, he can't die as long as he's in the assault zone. I'll explain that when we come to that. Okay, so what we've come to now is he's got multiple units who can defend, so I'm basically going to take a bunch of casualties if I just attack without thinking. If I put an Ember Starter up here first, she'll be able to get 2 kills, and Kali will be able to survive 1 hit, and then Claw and the Cowardly Recruit will be able to get an attack off. Oh shit. I should have remembered that. Well, at least Claw got an attack off, so that's at least one benefit there to what just happened. He'll likely be summoning another best friends next turn, and that'll bring his current best friends back into his hand. Just pull back for a moment. And yeah, it's basically the best I can do this turn. But this card that I just dropped, at the end of every single turn, will create a Flame Dawn Aspirant for me. So I'll just be constantly putting up more characters for me to defend and attack with. It'll go a long way to helping me outlast this person's deck, which looks like it is built with a bit of longevity in mind. So he has a pretty decent amount of cards to defend with. He'll probably have enough resources that he can... Yeah, he will. He'll be able to summon both his best friends and move his current one into the Assault or Defense Zone. So he'll have a fairly strong defensive lineup next turn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Intimidating Rally. And I'm going to discard a few of my cards of choice to ensure that they definitely don't get onto the defense zone next turn. Well, I guess I have to go with Ember Starter. And that's all. And shit. Nah, fuck's sake. Extend. Alright, so I just gave myself an extra minute there, so... Alright, so... That's all. Target him. Target him. And that was just saying that he's currently not in a zone where I can transport him back to support. Okay. And I want to drop a Fleeting Footman here. Oh wow, okay then. Oh well, that's saved myself from taking a lot of damage, but I don't really think that's has much relevance. What's that? A Recurring Nightmare. Discard from the graveyard each time you do it gains 3/3. Alright, that's pretty strong. So there's basically only way I can get rid of that is to kill it with Kali. I'm gonna use a Flag Bearer here. And what he does is when you deploy him, he'll move the first character in the defense zone back into the assault zone, or back into the support zone. So he won't be able to actually attack. So they won't actually be able to actually defend with it. Iberian's still got 1 round left where he'll survive, so I'll deploy him next round. Oh, that's not good. Ow. Ow. Okay, so that went pretty terribly. Um, I need to deploy Iberian now, otherwise he dies. But now that he's in the assault zone, he won't be able to take damage. And the only way they'll be able to hurt him is if move into the... is if he gets transported to the support or the defense zone. But at this point, Iberian's great to have because he's basically just going to clear out one unit in the defense zone every single turn. Okay. Okay, so here we have the trading post where we can spend our resources on stuff besides cards to gain additional advantages. Like once we have 9 resources, we can pay 9 to increase the base resource by 1. So it's going to go to 10 next turn anyway, but if I pay 9, it'll go to 11 instead. And you need to do that to get anywhere higher than 10. So I'm going to do that because I think I might need it. Just in case I need to deploy the Cataclysm. 10, 16, 24, 30, 34. Yeah, so he doesn't have nearly enough damage out there to come close to killing me this turn, so I feel safe in waiting it out for a bit. Yeah, so see, Iberian's just dealing quite a lot of damage there for basically no consequence. I'm just gonna spam draws now until yeah, just keep drawing. These guys here, Fleeting Footmen, they won't actually attack characters. So if they do get defended, then they'll just move back to the support zone instead, and I don't have to worry about them dying. So that's pretty handy, but it also sucks because it means that they can't attack characters. I don't know if that applies to defense or not. I haven't used them to defend with anything before. I can see those endless hordes turning into a problem soon too. Yeah, so I'm kind of in trouble now. I basically need to win here, or else I lose. What she does is she's a charge unit, but you can also use her to target cards and return them back to the support zone. So she's basically like a stumble cast. But yeah, I need to win this turn. Which I may just have. Unless I lost. If I survive, okay. So I should have won. 6, 14, 22. Yep, okay, I won. That was a fairly close game. I thought I was going to lose that for well, for numerous seconds. But okay, so that was Infinity Wars. You saw me lose one, you saw me win one. But as you can see, you just can't. You can very much hold off to rush. Like my deck, I feel is fairly good, so it's so that's why it might look like the rush is strong, but no, most rushing games, you just need to use the rush to get them down to a low level, and then use extra stuff to be able to chip out their health later. So, like, there's a ton of different play styles you can do in this game, so that's pretty fun. And the cards themselves are not fairly difficult to take. Like, I dropped $40 on the game, which you don't even have to spend money on it. Like, it's completely free. You can just earn cards as you play. But I spent $40 on the game, and within that time, within 2 days, I have every single card in the Flame Dawn faction, because that's what I was trying to get. So, like, it's easy to get your collection started, and there's a ton of promo codes as well that will get you tons of cards as well. So if you guys like feel like checking the game out, check it out, and just talk to me about it, and I can help you get started as well. But that's all, guys. So if you guys watched all this, thank you very much, and I'll talk to you guys next time I record a video.